I'm looking for it.
Yeah. I think I might see it, then you'll see it, then the whole world will see it. Hello. Hi, everybody. Thurman
Hi.
and Lala podcast. I'm cracking open a Liquid Death sparkling water. Liquid Death. They have not paid me, but I have continued to do this. Which is funny because, like, we're saying, like, Liquid Death, and it's like, this is probably the best thing for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's good water. It's like from like Argentina or something. I don't even know. Whatever. I'm not reading all that. Where'd you go? You went away for a second.
It should be fine. What the fuck's going on here?
Well, why? What? Are you having problems?
No, I mean it said pause and I didn't pause anything. So
yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Liquid Death.
Are you trying to get sponsored?
No, it's just funny that this is what they call it. It's Liquid Death, and it's like it'll kill you. Like it's the best thing for you. Water will save your life. And then the things that do kill you are advertised as like beer and alcohol and shit. Is like go out and live a life and party with your friends. And every beer commercial is like people living life. And then that's what kills you.
I thought Liquid Death was like coffee or some shit.
There's something like that that's sort of similar, yeah. But I don't know.
Well, that's fun.
This was an Amazon thing, and, you know, I just try to keep it fun around here.
I feel like that's that scene from Wayne's World, dude, when they're like
when they let Garth
talking
do
about
it.
bullshit like sponsors and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Garth's
yeah,
in the
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Doritos
No.
outfit.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Or Pepsi or whatever the fuck, you know.
Yeah. Here, take 2 of these. Little yellow.
Yeah, man.
That's good
Oh
shit.
fuck. So at work, it was kind of a weird situation today. My boss, the one of them, Mike, who did my roast or whatever, you know, that he was one of the work
3 guys, yeah.
He like right before we left.
Do they know you do this, and they know that
Well,
you
here's
name
the thing.
them?
He watches it.
Really?
But
So he's into it.
The main boss is not aware of it. Up until I was just about to leave, and they're both standing there, and Mike goes, "Hey, you doing the podcast tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, 8:00." And he's like, and the main boss is like, "Wait, what? You do one of those?" And I was like, "Yeah." And Mike goes, "Well, you know, it's hilarious, you know." They just, you know, say dumb shit to each other, and the one dude like smokes a bunch of weed.
You, sir? How dare you? This is an intellectual show, and you don't know what this is.
And he's like, but then he's like, the other guy smokes a bunch of weed, and I'm like, what? In the same sentence, and I was like, what? You know, and so I don't know. I don't think my main boss is gonna ever watch this, but
if he is, shout out, what up?
What's that?
I said if he is, shout
out.
What up?
Well, here's the thing, because I was like, oh
all
yeah,
day.
I'll never watch it, and then he goes, well, I don't listen to the radio. Like all I do is listen to podcasts, and I was like, fuck.
Oh yeah, dude, it's where to go, man. That's all I do. That's all anybody does. Well, what? What did they just meet you? They know you.
Not main boss does not know Steve.
Main boss. other guy thought it was fine to bring it up. So,
yes.
And y'all seem to have a sense of humor down there. I guess, judging by the roast video, those guys are pretty funny.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm starting to feel like Ryan, like maybe starting to sweat, and you know, maybe I'll get fired because of something I did on the internet.
I don't know. You. There's nothing that's like completely fucking out of character that you wouldn't do in normal life, anyways.
True.
Like, you're not like, I'm gonna go do crazy shit. You just do shit, and it happens to be crazy. So it's not like
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, they know. They're not gonna be fucking shocked.
It was just like I didn't like, you know, because Mike always asked me, "Hey man, oh man, that show was hilarious. Like you guys, it was so funny." And then like I did not expect, you know, because that's like the last person I think in the world that you would.
Yeah, well, it's those lines that are
like you're like the main guy. You're not like, hey, guess what I do on the weekends? You know, never.
Yeah,
like of in any sort of anything that you do on the weekends, whatever it is, you're never going to your boss and saying,
authority
"Hey,
figure.
this is what I do."
Yeah. I don't really have that. I guess. I mean, parents are just kind of like, look, man, fucking knock yourself out, but I ain't going to fucking hold back. Like, we're going to do what needs to be done. Yeah. So, you know, it's, I don't know, man. I think anybody who knows you, they get I think we get more worried about it. I hope this is me talking myself
I
down.
ran into
Because
Canadian
there's
Mike's mom.
times where we do a show and I'm like, we laugh our balls off, and then later that night I'm just like, oh God, someone's gonna hear that.
That kind of happens. I have
That's
like
public
post-show anxiety.
But then at the end of the day, I just go like, nah. If it was legitimately fucking funny, then that's fine. There's like a dot on my face. I can see it on the screen. It's fucking me up.
Yeah, what is that? Oh, is it reflection from the light? That's what it is behind you, though. So I ran into Canadian Mike's mom
like
while I was
sniper
working.
on.
She just happened to be in this parking lot.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck? Because I haven't seen her probably since the summer. And I was like, what are you doing here? She goes, what the hell are you doing here? And then she's like, hey, so I listen to your podcast.
Oh.
I was like, uh-oh. And then she like smacked me because of like all the bad shit that we were doing at the cottage that she was probably, I mean, she knew, but she didn't ask quite. It was like the old,
This is
Army
recently.
thing, gay
This
people
is
don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah,
Type of thing.
well, yeah, it's anything with the kid. This was recently, so she heard the episode specifically about her son and you and him. And
Yes,
Sinead. Okay,
yeah.
perfect, beautiful.
So I'm actually seeing it, like kind of play out.
Yeah, well, there's like certain things with the internet is kind of just like like it's opened all the doors, that all the walls that were separating these little pockets of culture. Like the golf club people were not at the fucking rave, and now with the internet, there's like some golf dork who, why does it say paused again? There you are. What are you doing?
Why? I don't know.
I don't know. It's the fucking every time I actually hired Mike's Canadian mom to block
So it
you
does
out.
that every time I'm not. It didn't do that last time. Am I paused again still?
No.
Okay. It just does that when I click to the fucking the page, the internet, which is weird because I'm trying to look for shit. God damn it.
Look on your phone.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm saying it's funny that there's like different pockets of society that are meeting up with each other that didn't know anyone existed. That they didn't know the other one existed. You talked shit about the internet. Yeah, we did. And then it paused you. It was like, slow down, motherfucker. But like you wouldn't know, like we would just be some couple assholes fucking yapping some shit on some late night rock and roll station or something, and like the aunt would not be listening to that. But now it's just accessible. It's on my Facebook page with pictures of my grandkids. And like underneath that is a video of my neighbor's nephew being like, so this chick's tits were huge, but they were like gross, you know? It wasn't they were big, but not in a good way. They were gross. They were fucking ugh. Anyways, it's like, oh my goodness. Some things just shouldn't be whatever. But I actually think it's kind of fun to show an old lady a fucking horrible joke and have her go, ah. Actually, older, like an old lady's probably funnier than anybody else. She don't give a fuck anymore.
Well, she's not just like some old lady. Like she's fucking
Canadian.
She's
I
cool.
just in my head, Canadian Mike's mom is a 90-year-old woman with a newspaper like hitting you. Those words are not Christ-like.
No, not at all. That's not Mike's mom at all, man. She's cool, but it was just funny because the parents have seen it from like the perspective of hearing about it because we get in trouble.
Yeah,
and they have to deal with us and like punish us, right? But when they actually hear the real details.
Guest request, Canadian Mike's even more Canadian mom. I'm assuming she lives in the Yukon and we have to like blow a fucking ram's horn to get a hold of her. That's how Canadian she is.
She's pretty far up north,
the generations get more Canadian. His great grandfather is just a leaf in a chair that tells old stories.
His grandfather
I think we should have her
on.
We should have her on and have her tell some stories about some shit her and her friends got in. We all got into fucking shenanigans.
She's got crazy stories. It gets crazy stories.
Shit goes up the list, so parents get pissed at the kids because you fucking did this shit. Now it's gonna fuck my weekend up. She's got stories like what?
I'm not. If that
is she the one about the Oakland Raiders and the whole team like one by one, or was that a different? Oh, that was terrible. I'm sorry,
Mike. Oh man,
no, that has nothing to do with either people in that joke. Don't say his name. It's just a funny. God damn it! Now I have to explain it. It's if you at it, it makes it true. If you laugh at what a ridiculous thing, ha ha ha. But if you go then you're like, did that actually happen? You're paused.
Oh my god, dude!
Why? What are you doing? You're trying to look at fucking.
Listen, I'm trying to talk to Donatelli on the fucking live chat, and
do it on your phone.
Something.
Pull up your phone.
All right, fine.
Or
you're right.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. This is the most unprofessional fucking intro to this show.
Every fucking episode you get better. Look, Stevie's got a new mic. Stevie new mics. Look at
Yeah,
that. New
I
mic,
did, and I got like this
headphones.
whole fucking interface system and everything. It's
It's
pretty great.
it's in there, man. It's in.
That was very frustrating today. Uh oh,
Hey, you found it.
turn it down.
Oh my god, dude! We started a live one a couple weeks ago, and Captain's phone was on. It started going, and it was like your grandpa when like a fucking ad starts playing, and he doesn't know how to get it to stop. He's just like turning, like he's like, turn it the fuck down. Yeah.
Well, at me as an old man, how the fuck do you see a live chat? Oh, there it is, right there. Okay,
Yeah.
cool,
I don't know.
awesome.
The live chat thing is weird because I've been on different interfaces, computers, iPads, and whatnot, and it's always like in a different weird place, and it's hard to find sometimes.
Yeah. Well, this is. I'm sorry. I apologize to the whole audience and you, the co-host, because I don't
it's
know what
fine.
the fuck is going on. Again, I just keep updating the shit that I have, and I have no idea how to use it.
Well,
And
it's funny that if your boss did tune into this, at least he knows you're not even good at it.
yeah, and he'll just lose interest.
Because that's the best is when someone's
Yeah.
like, check out my podcast, and then it's just, I'm like, I can't hear it.
So anyway, I ran over this kid at work.
Yeah, anyways, you know, they don't really count every dollar. I don't know, man. I just kind of blew my give a fuck fuse a long time ago, so whatever. You know, this is the whole point of
well,
this.
here's
Is
the
to be
thing.
as
I'm
funny
trying to
as
play
possible.
catch up from my not giving a fuck time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that I give a fuck about what people think. It's giving a fuck about like a livelihood and trying to pay bills and shit.
Yeah, and now they hold that over your head, which is creepy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is.
You just have to not have a high standard for life. You just, just don't care about nice things.
I really don't.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what they want, man. But it's fine. There's bigger fish to fry.
I was ready to, die with the first wave, and
How many dollars do you think that you transported have been donated to like Black Lives Matter, and they don't know how those dollars got to where they had to get because you transported them, and they would flip out.
you think that?
I don't know.
Some people might be like, "Hey, that's pretty cool."
No, I'm saying they wouldn't be happy that you, such a white supremacist or whatever the fuck they think you are. What are we so worried about?
No. I am not the white supremacist at my place of work.
Should that be the White Stripes cover band name? Yeah, the guys you work with, I think we're not worried about.
No.
I don't know. Do you think that trans people would have a problem with you dressing as Meg White and doing the thing? I should have given that job to a trans person. They'd come towards me.
I don't know. What do I have to represent? Like, everyone just got to be represented all the time? It's like, no, it's just a fun fucking thing to do. We need a Meg, and I'll be her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You should dress as Meg Griffin.
Okay, that too. That would be really weird. And I don't think people would. Adulting is hard, Jamie. It really is. It fucking sucks.
Well, yeah, it's in a sticky predicament where, like, all right, well, gotta, keep things, keep the hat on a little bit, you gotta, not go too crazy here, but at the same time, sort of the crazier you go, the more the fucking numbers, boop, 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 boop. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna start doing, like, after-hours Captain's Jug shows with the stories that we are, like, we really don't want to tell on, like, free shit, where it's like, motherfucker, we warned you. This is the late night Skinamax shit. All right. So we're going to do those. And I'm sure, like, we'll see. That'll be the test. It's like, people want this shit. You say that, because we have no fighting chance. We say, like, big independent, blah, blah, blah. But then you should watch Bill Burr do the fucking Royal Albert Hall. Like, that shot of him with the crowd in front of him, and it's sold out, and they're all fucking jumping and going crazy. Like, people love that shit. And people are sick of the dumb shit. It doesn't make any sense.
I know. It's just, it's like, if I don't know, I just did not expect like the main guy to be aware of this project because he just wasn't for so long.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And it's like my escapism and my work.
Well, you don't
shouldn't blend.
Here's the thing. Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. And there's people like, there's certain like worlds that shouldn't coexist. There's certain people who shouldn't know each other. And I
so
like
if he's watching right now, welcome.
No,
thank you.
It's he's got bigger shit to worry about. And then it's not like we don't talk. You talk about work and you talk, but you don't like say straight fucking names of companies and shit. And like, I mean, how fucking much of reality are we pretending is not happening? Is the thing.
That's like what you do.
I didn't. Like, we're like little kids. Really? We were just like going to work. They're like, "Did you have beers last night?" We're like, "No. We didn't have any beers last night." It's like, do people have having beers after work for like 1,000 years? It's what they do. It's what life is. Like, that's why I've been watching like old 70s movies and been like, man, people were like, just kind of more just common sensey and didn't give a fucky. I guess I think life is
Yeah.
better. Now it's a little too tense. You're never gonna
Um.
be promoted. Who
Well,
wants it?
so when I went for it, when I went for broke, and I ended up broke. When I moved to California to join Annabelle Black, um, we, a few of us in the band, tried to get another apartment. Um, and we thought we had it ready to go, and then it turns out we didn't, and it fell through. So we ended up living in our cars, which is like the authentic LA fucking trying to go for it, whether whatever you're trying to do. Most stories you hear from successful people and unsuccessful people is that they ended up living in their car at some point or another, right? So I might have talked about this part of it before, but so what I started. All right, so I knew that I was gonna have to move into my car, and so I got like this homeless kit I prepared. You know what I mean? Like I had my car mapped out specifically, like where it was gonna be. So like if you push like the driver's seat was one thing, but then if you push the passenger seat like all the way to like as far as it could go in the front, and I put my sleeping bag behind it, and you could like, and I put the back seats down, like my feet would get up against the fucking tailgate, like just so I could barely fit to sleep, in long ways in the truck, but it worked out. So that was my little bed, that section. And then I had like boxes of like fucking like, deodorant and snacks and like fucking wet wipes and all kinds of shit.
Yeah,
and like, a piss
you
jug.
can see them fucking vans that people recreate, like they or not recreate, like they what's the word I'm looking for? Bob Vila shit.
Oh, like I know what you mean. I can't think of the word
because
because I'm not.
Why can't either? Why did that one just go away from?
Refurbish, I don't know. Dude.
We're both,
they make it cooler.
We're both something. Whatever. They do it to the vans, and they make it fucking cool, and they make it like if you really mathematically work out the space, you can fit a whole fucking apartment in like a fucking van. And like two beds.
Well, this wasn't
out
that.
And all. Yeah.
This wasn't that at all. This was.
I bought
like,
deodorant. I put my deodorant and toothpaste in the same place, and it felt like home.
When like a homeless person
renovate
collects all these things under a box in like in a shopping cart.
Renovate.
Oh, well, that's not the word I was thinking of.
I was thinking renovate.
Okay. Read something. Fucking all right. So yeah, I wasn't living a luxurious life, but at the same time, it was also very freeing. Because I didn't have any bills. I had gas. That was
that's
it.
Fucking Kerouac shit, right?
Yeah, like it was its own experience, and yeah, it was scary. But like, dude, I think we lived in our cars for like a month and a half, at least, which is not much compared to like what the stories that you hear. But still, man, dude, when you got nowhere to go but like your car, the days seem kind of long. But that was
the
crazy
whole world
like,
is your yard.
Yes, well, that was the thing. Like some nights I'd be like, I'm gonna go sleep at the beach, and like I would, and I'd wake up in this like beautiful area, but like I'm the scumbag. And back when I had a home,
truck,
I'd
dude,
be like,
you're fucking, you're the top of the fucking homeless class. You're fucking Ivy League homeless. If you're
that's true.
You're
I
in
had
a
a
car,
mobile home.
Yeah, come on, that's awesome.
It was, and then so we ended up sleeping in the mountains of Calabasas, which is where Kobe crashed the helicopter. So that's weird, because like when I saw like the footage, and I was like, "Hey, man, like that's where I used to sleep."
You get a note that's like, "Steve, the fun facts? Yeah, they're supposed to be fun."
I'm just saying.
It really was. Remember
in fucking California?
I wonder if we could pull this guy up. Remember when that happened? Well, first of all, remember when that happened, and I was like, "This is a historical moment. I'll always remember where I was." And then the Kobe crashing was really the first fucking domino. And then Kobe was page 1, and then page 6 was like people in China are feeling kind of weird, and then like it's here we are. You know what I mean? Like that was Kobe was the first crazy thing in a line of crazy ass shit that happened, including the fucking brickyard exploding and like all this other wacky shit.
That was
it all happened in succession. Like once a month, something wacky happened. Every venue shut down, football, whatever. We all know.
Right.
You know, Kobe was the first one. Kobe was the first one. And when it first happened, of course, conspiracy shit starts going off all over the internet. It's hilarious. Like, Kobe knew something. He was Illuminati. He was going to rat Epstein out, so they killed him, blah, blah, blah. Ever since Epstein, everything now is, with a celebrity, especially with a celebrity.
Yeah.
So, whatever. There was a guy who, like, they interviewed on the street, and this guy gave, like, a courtroom fucking written description of what happened. He's like, the aircraft flew in due east and then did about 2 clicks towards the west before it dropped. It dropped, I'd say, between about 1,300 to 1,200 feet, and then it banked left, westwards, up towards the highway. And like everything he said just sounded like so concise. And you were like, that was, wow, you just found that guy on the street, huh? You just found like an aviation expert on the street. You got to pull it up. It was like, as soon as it happened, you pull this dude up, and he just gave it, and they were like, hey, okay, well, back to you, moving on.
You ever hear of Tim Robinson? He used to be a writer on SNL. He's got like a skit comedy show on Netflix. It's called I Think You Should Leave.
No.
It's one of my favorite fucking shows. The guy is amazing. But like there was a video where there was like a bunch of like fat Southerners who were like, we're not, they were against like the shutdown. They're like, we need to go shopping. We can't have these businesses closed, blah, blah. We need to buy stuff. And it was like not like essential shit. It was like stupid like stuff. And then he made his own video of like the actual news clips. And then he cut himself in. He's like, how am I supposed to get my Halloween stuff now? It was like, that's what they were arguing about. It was like the dumbest shit possible to fucking, to argue about. And that was like when like the protests were not about anything yet. You know what I mean? Like people were just like going armed into the fucking Capitol because of fucking their businesses, or they want to go get a beer somewhere and they can't. And then, what I mean?
Yeah, but there's a lot of fucking people who are
storming the Capitol for much different reasons.
Yeah. Well, there's, people were fucking the man who sells you that beer. It's a whole line, Steven. It's a whole circle, the circle of life. It really is. You can't just be like, all right, let's pick out 20 of the animals and just take them out. The whole fucking circle starts going all wobbly and shit. I was going to find this guy, but it doesn't matter. Never mind.
Well, when I was homeless, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I thought, man,
you can't follow up some fucking like, man, this is what I think about society, and all you were a bunch of fucking idiots. Anyways, when I was living in my car.
Yeah, so I've been there. I know how it is, you fucks. Not prison. I gotten a job, all right. I've
I'm a
all
fucking
kinds of lives
phoenix.
where I can judge anyone on anything, all right? At least that's just how I feel. But okay, so I had a lot of time on my hands, right? And I thought, man, this is the fucking life. I'm going for broke. I'm not gonna give up. Like, I came out to California for a reason. But like I said, I had a lot of time in my hands, so it's not like we were doing much while we were homeless. So I put together this video, which was is basically the lifestyles of the rich and famous, but for like regular assholes who didn't make it in in rock and roll. And I sent it to you, and I wonder if you could pull that up and show everyone.
I can. Do you want me just to blast it across the fucking screen and just shut our faces off of it? Oh, I moved you. Shouldn't have moved you.
That's fine. I don't care.
Oh, God. How do I just move him? Stop moving Steve, you fucking asshole. This one, right? Yeah, there we go. And there's the guy. What's the guy's name? Robin Leach.
Richard Leach.
Richard Leach. I thought it was Robin Leach.
I'm pretty sure when I Googled it, it was Richard Leach.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's funny in the video because I say it like it.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I'm your host.
More technical difficulties?
No, we can hear it, but you're loud as shit. Hold on, be quiet.
The mountains lives the bass player from Annabelle Black, Stevie. The neighborhood is quiet and peaceful, and people pay a pretty penny to keep it that way. Most importantly, no blacks.
No, remember when you called about this, I told you that I was in between homes at the time. I told you it wasn't a good time for me. It's rather embarrassing. I'd rather not do this, but Hi, I'm Stevie from Annabelle Black, and I guess I have to show you where I live.
This is Lala's 2009 Ford Escape that he can barely afford. Here we have premium cigarette storage, optimum window controls, more cigarette storage. You can control the headlights, stock steering wheel, Star Wars stickers, 4 air conditioning ports. Not 1, not 2, but 3 air fresheners. More air fresheners. As you see, Rust has not taken too kindly to this machine from Western New York. Here's a Star Wars sunshade, a bachelor bed, a jug for piss, premium fruit shopping center.
I told you not to interview my neighbors. I don't think that they like me.
All he does is talk about Star Wars all day.
No, I told you not to interview my neighbors. I don't think he likes me very much. I think he wants to kill me.
Here we have Kyle Williams, Stevie's bandmate and neighbor for 9 days. Tell me, is Stevie a good neighbor? Do you want to kill Stevie? Do you want to kill me? Let's see how Stevie passes the time.
I fucking hope your boss is watching now.
This has been Richard Leach with another episode of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Oh, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. Oh, there we go. Well.
Yeah, I didn't really share that with too many people because I didn't really let too many people know that I was homeless.
Well, now that you have a home, you don't want to let them currently know you're homeless. Now that you have a home, it's fine to say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now that I feel safe.
Yeah. Now that you've, it's like a badge of honor. Like, oh man, he really went for it and fucking,
Well, yeah,
live
but
that
at the
life.
time you're like, what a loser. You know what I
But
mean?
why, and then you come back to you, I want to fucking find a shot of you there. It's like you have, if I looked at you and your floppy hair, you're just like, that's California right there. There you have California Steve.
Yeah.
With his fucking glasses, and there's Western New York Steve. Hair's similar, but not as you just look at that guy and you're like, this is trying to be an actor, motherfucker. And then you're just.
It was just I had a mohawk and I
California
couldn't
Steve.
afford to fucking get my hair cut, so it just grew out. And you can see by my nasty little beard and shit. You know what I mean? I just, whatever. But I was like, you know what? This is fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? And I did all the shots, the panning of the, the car and all my piece of shit things. And that's my brother Matt on the roast for me. He
it shows
he was laughing. He goes,
it's all in the
a
editing.
jug for piss. That's a real thing. You never know, man. You don't always have access to a bathroom.
Anybody fuck with you while you're sleeping in your car?
No, man. No,
I feel
because
I'd be worried.
we're homeless, but we're not bothering anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wasn't taking shits on the road or anything like that. And I load up my backpack in the morning, go to a fucking Starbucks, order a coffee, and can I have the bathroom code? Because they have codes there because they don't want junkies to fucking die in the bathroom. So I'd go there, I'd fucking kind of wash up and shit, brush my teeth, do whatever, deodorant, all the whole thing, kind of get myself wash my nuts, and then go about my day.
At a certain
and then
point,
we'd go to the beach and fucking hang out forever because we had why the fuck? It was the most freeing experience I've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was nothing expected of us. I mean, it sucked. We didn't want to be in that situation, but at the time I was like, dude, to be it's not like I'm homeless in fucking Vermont.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying?
Vermont's
or Delaware.
Homeless in Vermont in the fall, beautiful. Come on.
Well, but I'm saying it would be cold as fuck. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it was beautiful. It wasn't bad, and we got to,
Well,
stay
California
wherever we
and
wanted.
where you're at, I mean, it's made for the modern man. Meaning there's like a fucking Shake Shack. You can eat for like a couple bucks. You know what I mean?
Part of the it's funny. Okay, so when I bought my Ford Escape, I pictured, all right, I was working like kind of doing home maintenance and shit at the time. So I was like, I need a vehicle that can carry all my fucking tools. I'm also a musician, so I need a vehicle that can carry that the seats go down and I can carry all my fucking instruments. And then I pictured myself because you know me, man, I've always wanted to go out west and do that. And when I got the opportunity, I was like, fuck yeah. So I took the truck that I fucking bought with that in mind years later and went out to California. The weird fucking thing about it. Okay, so I bought that truck in 2012 from Steve Baldo Ford. All right. I move out to Los Angeles 4 years later with Andy, the guitar player in Annabelle Black at the time. His best friend, who was his roommate there, his name was Jason. I never met him before, but he was a fellow Western New York guy. So Greg and I, we pull up there. We're hanging out the first day or whatever. We're just hanging, smoking,
say,
do
you
whatever.
did it again. We always say Greg and I. And like that sounds like a guy from like Thor. Like Thor has
Or
to go.
yeah, or like Lord of the Rings. Or
Yeah,
something.
Greg and I.
Greg and I.
Yeah, okay.
So all right, so we get there and like I'm like he kind of seems familiar, but whatever, And like the next day or two, he asked me. He's like, his name's Jason. He's like, hey man, where did you buy your like truck? And I'm like, oh, and back home. And he's like, yo, but where? And I was like, Steve Baldo Ford. And he was like, oh shit, I used to work there. And I looked at him and I was like, you sold me my truck. I was like, you're the fucking guy who sold me this truck. And he was like, holy shit, I remember that. So like when I told him like in 2012 that my goal eventually was to take this car out west, and he was like, oh yeah, you can take it wherever you want. An old lady just drove it to buy groceries. It's it's a used vehicle of all this shit. He was like, yeah, I can do that. It's funny. He told us to go over like a bump, like to see how like the shocks handled, and it was horrible. And like, but I was so
his
excited to buy a
old
new
lady
vehicle.
Went to get groceries with it? What was that selling point? Why would that
Because
make you
every used car
like he's saying
salesman
someone didn't
says
beat
it
the
was
shit out of
just
it.
Used. It was owned by an old lady and she only used
Yeah.
the vehicle to go
So
to the
your
grocery
car
store. So
seat,
barely...
your truck, you still drive, right?
Yes.
Just know that the seat, every time you're in it, just know that you are sitting on like thousands of old lady farts.
Farts.
You've gotten blown in that seat. You've had sex on
I've gotten lots
on
of
just a
stains and
pillow,
smells going on
a
in there.
my pillow of old lady farts. Just the fucking collecting farts from meals she's had for decades. She went out to dinner with her sister for
point
her
is, it
birthday
was
and had a
not
lemon
owned
chicken.
by an old lady,
and oh, that
right?
lemon chicken certainly hit my stomach in a weird way. And she had to drive all the way back from Rochester because her sister lived in Rochester. So you got a Rochester's trip worth of fucking lemon chicken farts from some old lady, and it's just getting into your body every day, dude.
Do you remember
So
when
this kid fucked you over with this car. We need to find him. He didn't tell you
no,
that.
but isn't that crazy though? Like I tell him like that's what I want to do, and then
That is a
unknowingly, years
wild
later,
story. You've told me
move to
that
fucking-
before. If I didn't
you know?
already know that story, I'd be like way shocked right now. And I'm sure everybody listening is like, "Wow, that's fucking crazy." But that's you're talking like a small world.
So even weirder.
But that's
okay,
fucking
so
crazy.
I used to hang out with these dudes at the grocery store. That was by our house. These old guys. One was like a retired like physics professor, and the other dude was this like electrician. And they were just old guys who'd smoke cigarettes and drank coffee. So I'd go there and hang out. I met them through that Jason guy because he worked at the grocery store. Anyway, so I was there hanging out, and I was
So you would
telling
just like
them,
chill with them like a Bronx Tale, like you just sit there and fucking shoot
and
dice
just
with
listen
these
to them
guys.
talk, and they were smart and funny, and it was
Dude,
it was
that's
just funny. It was
fucking
just something to do,
that's
man.
just shit. Like if I called any of my friends and said, "Do you want to go just like sit outside a place and talk about stuff?" They'd be like, "Yeah, what are you? All right? Oh fuck, he's gonna."
Well, they're old men.
he's
They're
gay.
retired. They got nothing
He's
to do.
gonna come out.
And I
Everybody
didn't either.
said
I was
that
like,
would
I
just
didn't
think-
know anybody out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I knew like the people that I lived with, and sometimes you didn't want to be in that house.
No, that's cool. So these are two like older fellas.
Yeah,
This
and they
is-
would
I'm
share a really
fascinated
cool
by
story.
this.
So my cool coincidental story that I gave to them was about Jason and how he sold me my truck, and years later I drove it to his house unknowingly to live there to pursue my fucking dreams, right? As I'm telling that story to these guys, and we're sitting outside, as I'm telling that story, this dude walks by and he goes, Steve? And I'm like, Kevin? It was Kevin Richards. You remember that dude who used to hang out with Alex? He was like going to school down the street. It was so in fucking Los Angeles. I don't know. As I'm telling this story, Kevin Richards fucking like
That
just
hit
out
me.
of nowhere.
That hit me. Wow.
It was fucking it was insane. I was like, how the fuck does that happen?
And did you freak him out by like freaking out that it was him?
Yeah, I was way too excited.
You were way too excited because he just like magically punctuated your story. It was like,
Yes.
this feels like when Jim Carrey got his god powers and like they were starting to turn on, and like you mention a guy and he pops up next to you and you're like getting used to it.
Him and I weren't like friends, you know
He
what I
was
mean?
just a
Like,
guy,
that's why
yeah.
he was probably like,
I
hey,
have
Steve.
one funny story. He was an alright, whatever. He's a fellow.
He was nice.
He
Yeah,
was a
but we
nice
weren't,
kid.
like,
He didn't play
pals.
drums. Yeah, I don't remember him, but whatever. I do remember him. We were at the Brickyard one night and it was packed as shit, and all these people are around, and Lee was there with her friend, and they were walking by, and I was like trying to get her one friend's attention or something like that, and they were just like, we're like, hold on. It was a big fucking drunken mess, and they stumbled by, and I did the thing from Scarface. I was like, lesbians. You do it better than I do.
Lesbian.
You do it. And then that kid, Mike Richards, like in all earnestly looked at me and goes, oh, she's not a lesbian. Because it was like our friend who has like 4 kids. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and was like dating my other friend. I'm like, who's not a chick. I'm just like, yeah, I know. It's from Scar. Fuck. Lesbians. And he just was like, no, she's not a lesbian. And it just like, I don't know, the air that fell over the room was very weird. It was like 800 old lady farts just like fell in the room. That's how thick the air was. That's your life, dude. I've been in that car. I feel horrified.
Yeah, it's I mean, yeah, it's definitely seen some shit. It's got me across country a few times. Do you remember that time I don't know why did I think of this? Oh, it was because okay, when Lindsay, remember Friday butt sex and Lindsay and Jimmy, that was like their tradition and we had them talk about it on the podcast for some reason. I don't know if they were willing. I know Jimmy was, but I'm not sure Lindsay was. But anyway, we're going to bring it back up.
I didn't say any. I just sit here and let everybody be themselves. I just provide freedom to express yourself however you want.
Friends of ours used to live apart, and part of they would get together on the weekends. And Friday they would celebrate a little too much, and they would have Friday butt sex. It was like their tradition, right?
Yeah.
So it was hilarious. Ha ha ha. So Lindsay calls me one time, and it was a Saturday or a Sunday or whatever after a weekend of butt sex, and she farted and shit herself in the car on the ride home. And she called me.
This is the story she should be telling. Why are you? This is me. She might not want this on here.
Well, here's the thing. I'm
You
telling
could
you
have
from
said
my
it was our friends. You
perspective.
literally were like episode 38.
Fucking okay. So I think we've told this story before, but the thing is, from my perspective, she called me in confidence as a friend. And she said, "Don't tell Jimmy." So I'm like, "I promise I won't." I hang up. The first thing I do is call Jimmy and tell him that Lindsay shit herself on the way home from Friday butt sex, and we both started dying laughing. You know that Jimmy laugh? He's just like, ah! You know what I mean? Like, like fucking, like it was like we were dying, and she obviously knew that I betrayed her trust immediately, but luckily it was funny enough where I was forgivable. I hope,
Yeah.
but it was too good. I promise I'll
were.
never say anything, and the first thing
I
I
don't
do
know.
is call him up.
This all right. So you told that. I guess I could tell this isn't that bad. This is a more flattering story. This is why we love Lindsay. This is why we're friends with her. We were hanging out on the back of our friend's porch, who like overlooks the river. It was beautiful, but it was hot as a motherfucker. It was just a hot, swampy day. And then she we kept, we're drinking and stuff, so everybody's routinely going into the bathroom and coming back out of the house. And she comes out one time after going in and out a few times and being like, I haven't peed once. I just keep going in there to wipe my ass because it's so sweaty. And then we're like, you didn't have to tell anybody that.
Nobody
You
would have
didn't
guessed.
Nobody ever would have known.
Nobody was on to you.
We're just drinking, so we're like, yeah, you're pissing a lot. Nobody would have known. She just had to say it. She had to say it. And we were like, thank you for that. Because then we all felt better. And we all felt closer. We all felt more like, it worked. It magically brought people together.
See, what that story that I broke that news to Jimmy, and I think he just fell more in love because now they're married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't thank me all at once, but I kind of had something to do with it. Especially because I told both of them when they started dating or hooking up, I was like, get away, get away from each other. Don't do this. And now here we are. And for,
Don't do
and
this.
look at them.
Yeah. That's good, I guess, That's really funny that you were just like, no.
No. It was funny. They both dated the worst people separately. And I had to hear about it all the time.
Because you'd be caught in the tornado of that shit. And you
Yeah.
were like smack dab in the middle with both of them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So then they got together
me a
and I
little
thought,
bit as
oh,
well,
fuck.
but you a little more.
Well, and then it was, the rest was fucking history. It was perfect. I was like, oh my God, they're like the best possible match for each other. You know what I mean? Like, so it worked out. Good for them. I love them. We're going to the fucking aquarium tomorrow with
The
them
Niagara Falls
to see
aquarium?
Zach is playing at the aquarium tomorrow.
Hey, man,
So-
you gotta get a fucking gig. That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
actually.
So we're
the
like,
Niagara
that's
Falls
kinda
Aquarium.
fucking cool. Yeah.
There was some crazy story that, all right, dude, shout out Rob Shots on Instagram. Fucking Niagara Falls is wild as fuck. There was this goes back to the aquarium. I'm going to also look into that because I've really been really lazy and not really wanting to book gigs lately. I don't give a fuck. But, dude, if we can go jam next to some fish, like that's sort of an experience I want to have.
Play fish next to fish.
Yeah, fuck me, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a freak.
Anything's
Everybody.
better than a grocery store.
We just started watching like the Aquaman because I didn't give a fuck. It was just put on a movie and it was like new and whatever. I had to eat a meal. All right, don't take it personally. It was the first thing that popped up on HBO.
Such a piece of shit.
So the little kids there and all the fish come behind them when they're at the aquarium, and the fish start backing them up. All right, that's what's good. That's gonna be me. Yeah, fucking. Yeah, that's gonna be me. Why did we say? All right, so Rob Shots. There's a car that fucking goes wildly off the road, going way over the speed limit, crashes through a fucking telephone pole and through a bush and through all this shit, like crashes like into like the aquarium parking lot or like into like the side of it, like where there's like some shrubbery or something, and like the power got shut down and all the fucking water, like all the power went out to an aquarium, like could have killed every fucking thing in there. And it was two people. It was the two like young in their young 20s. I'm gonna assume white. All right, this is me just assuming white.
White.
And they said that they were pulled over, and they were just sleeping on the side of the road, just some random fucking street, not a parking lot or anything. They just pulled over, and they were sleeping because they were, I guess they were fucked up. I don't know. They just said they were sleeping, and when they woke up, there was somebody in the car. And they stole the car with them in it, and they got in a fight with them, and then that's when the car went off the road.
Of course.
That's what they said, right? Do you believe that, or do you think
yeah.
these are just two wasted ass fucking kids?
Well, here's the thing.
Who immediately were just like, a black guy did it.
And Niagara Falls police are like, yeah, absolutely.
Like that's
Moving on.
the story they told, and that's what they told them, was that they were sleeping in the car, and then they woke up to somebody driving it away. Like, really? Like somebody's gonna take that? Like they're gonna kidnap two people? Like for a fucking shitty car? Like
Yeah, with them in the
and then
car.
they crashed, and this guy ran away, and that's what happened.
Yeah, he was fine miraculously, but
Yeah, but that reminded the aquarium reminded me of that.
well, that's pretty funny. I mean, as far as excuses go, because we were talking last week about like the excuses I gave for like what
Yeah.
I was doing at that time, but never like did I say Paul and I were kidnapped by a black guy and he made us at gunpoint like fucking steal this golf cart. You know what I mean? And Canadians would have been like, black guy?
In Sharkston?
You realize you have to pay money to be here.
I didn't know Canadians were such.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming from the north and the south. God
It's a
damn it.
gated community.
Yeah.
You
know. I don't know, man. That wouldn't be my excuse. I don't know
So-
what you would do. I would just hope the crash killed me. God damn, because fucking life would be pretty shitty for that kid. I didn't follow up, but I'm sure it's pretty shitty.
We had done some pretty crazy shit in cars. Cars is like a weird place to do stuff, especially like when you're kids and you're that age, like teenagers, where you're able to drive. Like, remember we hung out in Tim's fucking Taurus like for years.
Yeah, I have a
Because
song.
it was just a roving living room.
I have
pretty
a
much.
song called Red Taurus.
Yes, I
And
know.
remember when the hood had a hole like of rust, like a rusted hole, because there was some bolt from the inside, and every time you'd hit some sort of bump, like I'm trying to like, it was like the in the hood was a rusty hole like that.
Yeah, it was a little
and the
fucking,
bolt would just pop up,
Yeah.
like a little
Every
whack-a-mole. Every time you hit a pump, it would just pop up. It was just so fucking like a Mario thing, like. Bring!
So at the cottage, when in our teenage years, Mike and I were bored. Mike used to have this old, like Volkswagen hatchback thing. It had a sunroof, and he had like a European license plate that said Vagwagon for some reason. It's pretty funny.
For some reason, for that
So
reason,
we
that's
would fuck with
amazing.
people like
Vagwagon. That doesn't even sound good.
No, it doesn't.
Mike is
It sounds
also.
really
I've
bad.
seen some shit on Mike's Instagram. He's involved in some serious Fast and Furious shit.
Yeah,
Am I
mean,
looking at?
he's-
Are we
he's
talking
always
about the
been
same
into
guy?
cars
That's
and
him,
stuff.
right?
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
into
yeah.
like street, like he'll show like videos like street races and shit and cops and
Yeah,
craziness.
he goes to like I think the place in Ocean City
That's pretty
where they
fucking
do
cool.
like a huge like
I wanna
kind
hear-
of illegal
Yeah.
fucking car show type of thing, and everyone gets pulled over and shit.
I want to hear.
He's
about
been doing that for years. But Mike always came up with bad ideas, right? And I always executed them because monkey see, monkey say, monkey do type of thing. All right. So like,
Yeah,
we
I
went to
think
Tim
I'm starting to
Hortons
learn
because-
that Mike was sort of like your king to everybody. Like it seems like all of your childhood stories, Mike seems to be getting out of it. And it's
Yeah,
like
no, and I
every
get-
story ends with like, yeah, so Mike and the three chicks took off, and we ended up getting banned from a year from the arcade.
Well, this time, so we went to Tim Hortons. I think our parents gave us like $5. We went to Tim Hortons, bought like a fucking dozen donuts.
That ain't bad.
And we ate like
that
two
ain't
of them.
bad.
What's bad?
I said that ain't bad. $5 at a Timmy Close.
Well, at the time, you know what I mean, or whatever the fuck. It wasn't very much money, but we were like, what do we do? Nothing cool. Let's go buy a dozen donuts. Okay. So we ate like 2 of them. What the fuck are we gonna do with the rest of them? So sunroof, summertime, driving through Crystal Beach. I see this ridiculously fat little girl on a bicycle, and we're coming up, and she's going the same direction, but we're on her tail, and I pop out of the sunroof, and I have a cream-filled donut, and I fucking wind up, and I didn't know if I was gonna hit her because I don't have a very good arm, but I nailed her in the ass with a donut. This little fat girl who was probably like 8, and we were like 16, and it exploded with cream all over the back of her. And she did one of those like, ugh, and like she almost ate shit. Like the wheel turned like super quick, and she went, but she was covered, dude. And she must be traumatized. She has to be, because we just drove by like, you know, it was perfect.
Why? Why is that so painfully funny? That it's just like, what a fucking horrible thing to do. Well, why
She
is
has
that
to,
so
like-
funny?
Oh, she has to. You're right, John. She has to still be in therapy. That is a monumental moment to happen, and for me too. But worse for her. Maybe she's like a fucking Instagram model, and she's like sponsored
Maybe.
and has a ton of
And
money, and she's super
like,
hot.
she kept riding that fucking bike, just to, you know what I mean. And now she's,
We need Mike to be to weigh in on some of these stories, man. I'm
that
telling
is
you, dude.
fucking painfully fucking. Why is that funny though? It's so mean, but that shit is funny. When you're a kid, it's just shit's fucking harmless, man. But But I think we're finding out it's not, because it does leave like a weird scar. Like, what if she's like a senator or something, and she just makes weird ass decisions that like sunroofs are now illegal in San Diego? And people are like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "It's fine, fuck you," and she just goes nuts, and like the National Guard like will take your head off if you have a fucking sunroof, like because of this. Like that's what I'm saying is like LBJ used to dictate fucking things while he was on the shitter. That man was not well. Okay, that's not a normal thing to do. That's what a schizophrenic person does. Is like has meetings while he's taking a dump, and that guy Was it like you find out?
No,
I think
yeah.
we're all like, kids will bounce back, but like you find out, like, no, I think something permanent happened that's why people are so fucking weird today.
Yeah, well, that was definitely one of them for her. It had to have been because
Oh my God.
here's the thing: I thought I was just gonna like hit the. I meant to hit her, but I did not think at all I was gonna nail her, and I did, and it fucking exploded. Like dude, it was just everywhere. It was so amazing.
I'm a good shot. What do you want from me? I'm a good shot.
That's the thing, but I wasn't like I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. Like,
but that's your defense is like, hey, I didn't think I was gonna hit her. When I got out of the sunroof and threw a donut at that person. Like, a lot of those decisions up to you. Like
I'm just saying, like it's always
not
in
my
those
fault.
moments where I excel for some reason
because
I
it's
suck
a
in
beautiful
every
moment. And I bet
know?
that girl something about maybe she liked the attention. You know, she's a little fat girl. All right, she's not getting any attention from boys. All of a sudden, 2 older boys in a car blast some cream all over her ass. She's like, "Oh, they were looking at my ass," and then she starts singing that all about that bass, that song about it's like, "Oh hell yeah, be a fat chick," like hell yeah, you know what I mean? Like maybe she just liked that, and now she does like cream pie porn or something, and she's got an OnlyFans where you fucking bust nuts on her ass, and she's a fucking millionaire.
Hey, speaking of getting fired from jobs, the first job
They
I
can't
ever
fire
had
you
was,
for what I
the only
say.
job I ever got fired from, and it was Tops. Actually, no. Technically, I was fired from 2 places. One of them was Vincenzo's, which is really funny.
Because
that was when Tim and I went to my cottage.
Well,
and
they found out what you were doing in the cheese, right?
What's that?
No, nothing. Oh, they don't know about that. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
no.
the other thing.
Yeah,
Shit,
no, we
never
don't
mind.
talk about
We'll cut that out.
No, it was funny because like when the old owner Tom from Vincenzo's, he met Kaylee at one of your shows. The Fox, whatever the fuck. What is that band?
Papa Foxtrot.
Papa Foxtrot. Cool name. I just couldn't think of it. Fucking. So he was like, yeah, Steve actually has the like
R.I.P. Vincenzo, like the guy or the place. Is it closing?
No, Tom used to be like when I first.
No, in the chat. I'm sorry. Donatelli said R.I.P. Vincenzo. Does that mean the guy?
Vincenzo, the original
guy?
Vincenzo.
Okay. I didn't know if they were closing. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, no, they're good.
Right.
They're still going. But Tom used to own it, right? So, and he hired us, me and Tim and everything, and like, you know. So Tim and I were like, let's go to my cottage, and I was like, fuck, I never
Tim and
took off for that.
Tim and I, brother of Greg and I.
So I write in the little employee calendar, like, you know, super quick, like maybe they didn't notice, you know, like I'm gonna write, I have these days off, which I didn't. I just did it right before that weekend. So I go to Canada. I have no cell service or whatever. I was supposed to work like probably that whole weekend. And I'm coming back on the bridge, like, on that Sunday, and, like, I start to get cell reception, and fucking I get a bunch of voicemails. This is from Tom. And he goes, where the fuck are... He's like, where the fuck... And I click to the next one. He's like, Steve, seriously, if you don't get it... And I, like, he's like, you know what? You're fucking fired. Don't fucking bother coming in. Coming back. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm fired. And then, I don't know. I worked somewhere else, whatever. And then, then Munzie took over, and I've been working there ever since. So I've been really steadily working at Vincenzo since like 2009. I never really got fired. But he told Kaylee that. He's like, yeah, he's the only guy I've ever fired from Vincenzo.
Yeah.
So that's Steve.
Yeah. He told me the same exact thing.
So fucking, but my first job ever was
Had
Tom's,
dinner with Tom tonight. I love Tom. Tom's one of my favorite people.
Tom's a fucking great guy, man.
That's why it was so funny that like he had to be like he's not that guy. He's not that guy at all. I don't know.
No.
Maybe fuck. I don't know.
No, but like
pretty
you know,
pleasant
that's why
guy
I was
to
just
me.
like, I'm just gonna write on the fucking employee calendar that I had off, and maybe these idiots.
Yeah,
will
you're
fucking
being
know.
a little fucking.
And they're like, really,
dick.
you're the idiot because obviously they would know that was never a thing. You know?
Yeah, and then you disappear to Canada.
Yeah, because fuck it, we had girls. Like, you know what I mean? It was a weekend. I don't give a
girls.
shit.
Yeah, you're not gonna all these years later still to your friend. You're just like fuck him.
I love him, I do, but like at the time, no, I didn't give a fuck. I had a horrible work ethic. We used to fucking drink beers and shit. Like All right, my job, I was just the counter girl essentially. And used to have tables out front, and I would pour myself a beer in a red cup, and I'd take the phone and a notepad out with me and sit on the tables out front of the place and put my feet up and drink beer until somebody called. Like he didn't need me. You know what I'm saying? He did not need me at all.
Why? Well, yeah, what's the problem with that? Is that negative? Is that having a negative effect on the pizza? Maybe the delivery boy shouldn't be doing
it's not
that.
Like I'm a hot
but
shit
I'm saying like
beer and like bringing people in to fucking
that's
get
true.
pizza. It's me, like it wasn't flattering. And he was like, "What are you doing?" Like I'm not fucking. I added nothing to that place, so he was just trimming some fat, pretty much. But well deserved because I was a total asshole and just didn't tell them I was going away for the weekend. But the first job I ever had, Tops. Okay, I was a cart boy. And I never smoked at work. I never, got baked before I went in. Right? This is when I was like 16 or 15.
You shouldn't do that. Save those for special times.
Right. But one time, you and Tim were bored, and you came to visit Steve at work.
Me and Tim, you did?
Yes, you did. And I was like, hold on. I'm going to take my break. So we go to Tim's car. We get super fucking baked. And he had that weird little...
that doesn't sound like us.
Yeah.
You got the wrong guys.
So I go in, and I still have like
guys.
15 minutes left on my break. And I'm working like the night shift. It's later in the evening. So I go over to the carryout cafe. It's closed. There's nobody there, but they have like little 2 pieces of pizza wrapped up. So I grab it. And I like I'm saying, I'm not used to. This is my first time I was ever baked at work ever, and I like go into the fucking break room and I eat the pizza, and then I realized during the break, oh shit, I never paid for that. So I had the wrapper still, so I went out to the register and I paid for it. Then I clock back in and I go out. You guys are fucked off since then. You guys went on your merry little way. And I hear over the fucking loudspeaker out in the parking lot, they're like, well, Steve LaBarber, please report to the manager's office. And I was like, uh-oh. And they're like, hey, you're fired for stealing pizza. And I was like, what? I didn't steal anything. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I paid for it after. And they're like, you wouldn't have. You know what I mean? That was the thing. So basically, you and Tim got me fired.
No, that's a fucking ridiculous ass rule. They probably know you smoked fucking weed in the fucking car and then just walked in and got pizza.
Yeah, how could I not have? I reached probably.
Yeah, so that probably was more that.
Right. No, but I just blame. I can't ever take responsibility for anything I do. So it's your fault. No. You guys did it. It's always like, oh, it's Mike's idea, but I did it. And you guys got me baked. I was younger than you.
I was impressionable.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, it is weird. There was a place I used to work at that I was a very early morning gig, and I never smoked weed in the morning. It was just too much. I'd be burned out by fucking 7. I would be useless. So yeah. I was never ever baked there. And then I would go home and just get baked at home all day. And then one time I went in to pick up the checks for we're fucking late for some reason or whatever. And I was high and I went in. And it was like a fucking amusement park of my life. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. You know what I mean? Like, when you I don't know, dude. Like, when you go to the Simpsons fucking land and you walk into the bar and it's all set up like the cartoon and you feel like you're in the cartoon. Like, the mugs look all funny and everything. There's, like, big statues of the guys all hanging out. And you're like, dude, I'm in the fucking show. Like, it was trippy. It's like I walked into the movie of my life. Right. And they were all like,
yeah, okay.
What's going on? And I'm just like, nothing. Hey, how you guys doing? Take it easy. Got the fuck out of there. And like, I don't know, we just made some shit up later. But it's like, that's very strange. Like, those places, weed has its fucking place. Sitting in your basement telling dick jokes over the internet with your friends, kind of the perfect place. All right? But there's times,
that's true.
You know what I mean? But there was also like, God damn it, it would be so. I told Lee, I'm like, if you ever get like some weird, because once in a while these corporate-y things come up, some like crazy billion-dollar dinner that neither one of us should ever be at, but you just happen to work on this account and we got 2 tickets. Can you please tell me so I can eat mushrooms and go to this thing? Because I'll never ever in my life be able to be like, she talks about these offices she's in, these big beautiful offices that overlook the city. I'm like, do you understand that I will never be in that building? other than the lobby and then through the door out the other way because the guy's kicking me out. Like people like me don't get to go to those places.
Why
You gotta let me in.
Why did you tell everyone about the time you took acid and went to go to the Sabres game with your
I
dad?
was continuing an acid. I had an acid weekend. That was the thing. Is like there was a gig, there was a show at like the ballroom the night before or something. So you're just continuing, and we get these gel tabs that they're in your pocket. You're shuffling around by the end of it.
Heck of a pretzel.
Yeah, from the end of it, it's just little crystally shits in a bag, and you're just like, this is no good. You're at the tail end of the night before, which you probably didn't sleep, and you're like, this isn't enough to save for a next time. So you just are like, whatever. And we had Sabres tickets, and it was pretty fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie, it was a nice, groovy little fucking Sabres game, I guess. They won. They beat the fucking shit out of Boston like 8-1, and they like weren't good at the time.
That would have been a good game.
It was crazy. And that Chara dude, like I don't know shit about sports, but that guy is massive. Like even like in person when you see him on the fucking ice with everybody else, he's head and shoulders above everybody else. So you make it sound a little ridiculous. I'm a fucking I know what I'm doing here, Steve.
There was one time where I think Jimmy and I and like some friend, I think Hawaiian Steve was there. I was on a nice little fucking, I had a nice night the night before and was rolled over into the next morning, which we had to leave for the Buffalo fucking St. Patty's Day parade. And I went up with Jimmy and I spent the night with the lady and
24-hour
pregame because I haven't showered and I've been up all night and disgusting and I smell like vagina. And Jimmy's like, "Oh, you're sure you're good?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." And that was when I had like my long hair at the time and it was cold. So I had like a hat on and like an old shitty jacket because I was just who took any hand me down I possibly could. So I got lost from them in Buffalo and I'm wandering around and I see people I know. I saw like Charlie and Cheryl and like Kate and I don't know who else, but I think it was Kate and Chris and outside of this bar on Allen Street and fucking, I was like, "Hey, Kate, what's up?" And I go to give her a hug, and the bouncer was like, "Hey, get out of here!" And he's like, "Is this homeless guy bothering you?" Because I was like disheveled and like long hair and like a shitty like snow hat, you know what I mean? Just like
yeah.
I was like, they're like, "Get out of here, you fucking." You know
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah, I was like, ow, I was really put in my place. I'm like, man, maybe I should really rethink my life. And, like 12 years later, I did.
That was the start. Those first steps, the 12 steps. Each step is a year, right? That's how I understood. That's how the game works. There was, I don't know, man. You get thrown off sometimes when you see people you don't expect to see them. I remember I was hanging up. We had a routine of the Mechanico posters where you go hang them up around town and shit, especially if you're playing a local like Center Street gig. And like I just woked and boked and was just like had my headphones in and walked past like two people I kind of knew a girl that I kind of was a sister of a friend of ours who fucking was like having a brunch with somebody. And it was just like they were having straight up white people, Kate Hudson movie, brunch life. Normal people who don't smell and dirty drug people life. They're having a nice rom-com life. And fucking Train Spotting walks by hanging posters for his fucking band's gig. This is with a fucking stapler and just like all fucked up. And she's just like, "Hey, Sean." I'm just like, and like you could tell the whole interaction was weird because they were like totally like here. And I'm just like, some people just shouldn't mix.
It's very true, man.
What if we became like white supremacists of just like, look, we're saying white people, like, what kind of white people we're talking about. We're talking golf course motherfuckers, okay? There's the people who, the Caddyshack explained it very well, drew the line very well. We all know what side we're on. Me and you are fucking caddies, my friend. We are cart bitches.
The summer, that was the best summer ever where, we got arrested and stole a golf cart or attempted to, all right?
Yeah, you didn't steal shit.
No. I was very terrible.
Your friend turned the lights on.
Yeah, and showed the world what we were doing. You know what's fucked up about the story? I forgot about this. So there was a fence on the back of this.
That guy did skull fuck the shit out of us. Did I not mention that part?
I can't see very well. He fucking... Okay, so Mike told me...
Do you think the
after,
lady
we
that
got
owned your
arrested.
car ever like fucking gave one of like her gentleman friends home a ride back to the thing and like gave him a Yankee while she was sitting in your seat?
What?
I'm just obsessed with the old lady who used to own your car. All right. Anyway, sorry. What?
Get over it, man. There was no old lady.
Yes, there was. He told you. He wouldn't lie to you. You and this man have traveled across the country separately.
He's a used car salesman. All he does is lie.
That it wasn't even him. This whole story is bullshit. He's like, "Are you the guy who sold me your car?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I am." And it's not even him. It's a different guy.
The fence behind the fucking trailer that we picked to steal the golf cart from was the fence that was the property line for the Pleasant Beach trailer park, which was on our street. So had we known that, we could have just hopped that fence real quick and been out of Shirkston's jurisdiction, like within 6 feet. But we
yeah.
went through the whole thing, skull fucked and all, and that sounds like a fucking live Metallica album or
Skull
something.
fucked and all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a release with the demos and stuff. Like the
Yeah, exactly.
bootlegs.
Exactly. When the Cliff years,
Yeah.
Fucking so all right, so that summer, it was a magical summer. Like I said, like everybody was doing stuff, the girls were developing, and we were all drinking and having a fucking best time. Seriously, titties popping out everywhere.
No, I'm aware of the summers, dude. I know the
Yes,
summers.
okay. So all right, so this is like, we thought this is where it peaked. But so this weekend happened, and then I think the pot stealing incident happened, and then we got arrested. So that was like, it was in succession. It was a crazy fucking like a
sort of a
fucking
Kobe
nuclear explosion of a summer.
Yeah, sort of the Kobe COVID.
Yes,
the dominoes
You can
we
see
were
where it
talking about
started.
earlier. You know what I mean?
So all right, so we were all hanging out, right?
And then in the middle of all the craziness, fucking Kirk Douglas died at like 210.
He did?
Or he's the oldest one. People are like,
yeah, seriously.
shocked and saddened. You're like, that's the most predictable thing that's happened. Everything else has been. Have you not been watching the other shit?
Kirk
You're
Douglas was as old as Spartacus' tale is.
Yeah, like that was a fucking. That wasn't a period piece.
He was there.
It's a contemporary film. All right, continue. Crazy summer.
All right, crazy summer. So, all right, so there's all of us Pleasant Beach kids and some of the trailer park.
Very ironic name.
Pleasant Beach
It
kids.
sounds
I know,
like
right?
you're gonna write like an indie movie, and it's gonna be Pleasant Beach, and then you're gonna watch the trailer, and it's gonna be like, that's not pleasant at all. These kids are having a rough life.
It was very pleasant at the time. Okay,
One of them's gay.
It really was.
They
It
won't
still
accept
is.
it.
It's a wonderful place. Okay, so we're hanging out at this place called the Lodge, which is like right by our cottage. It's this old log like cabin, and it's used for like
Yeah,
community activities. Right?
I thought it was like a big like glass building, like the
Shut the
Apple
fuck
Store.
up, man.
It's called the Lodge. Yeah, we all pictured it.
Right, but it could be like a fucking old man, like
I was gonna make fun
war
of, like-
fucking club. You know what I'm saying?
It's where these really uncreative people used to hang out. Was at the Lodge.
Fuck you. All right, it's actually a cool story. Fucking it used to be one of Al Capone's like fucking bootlegging. Little
That's
sites,
cool.
right?
Then they could have had like a cool gangster name for it.
Well, the Lodge,
All right,
or like
continue.
lodging a knife. Into
That is
fucking,
pretty cool. All right. Oh, all right. You made it cool. Good job.
All right,
you
yeah,
did
thanks.
it. You
Well,
did it.
so it's sealed off now, but in the basement there was this tunnel, this entrance to a tunnel that would lead right out to the lake and to the boats, and
So
that's
they
where they would
bootleg.
make the whiskey in the
Yeah.
basement, and then they would send it to the boats, and they would ship it over to Buffalo. So it was a cool bootlegging little thing. Now Pleasant Beach owns it, right?
They do a Dropkick Murphy song called "Ship It Over to Buffalo."
Ship it over to Buffalo. Da-ding, 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 da-ding. That's how the Western New York version would be. I'm a sailor. All right, so okay, I love that I laugh at my own jokes harder than anyone else does. Okay,
They're laughing.
so we're hanging out at the lodge, and we're just the kid. Like all the parents were doing something, adult stuff. They were trying to probably smoke weed and not let the kids know. So they put us over here in this empty lot where that's exactly what we were all doing, right? So it was cool, separation. Like parents were doing their partying, kids were doing ours, right? So there's a big fire, and we're all fucking super drunk, and it's like all of the area kids, like we'd all hang out like separately, but this was a night where all of us happened to be together. So there's this goth kid that hung out with us. His name was Marcus, right? And he used to wear those big like those huge pants, like what are they?
Like
The parachute.
well, they're called like there's Janko jeans. But
Yeah, but
that's
it was
denim,
like the
but
black
they were black
version,
with the chains
not black
all
guy
over 'em.
version.
They were with the chains all over them and shit.
Yes,
like
yes,
S&M
okay.
style. But Janko is kind of there's that super wide leg jeans.
Yeah, so picture that, but like goth kid, right?
Yeah, goth kid, early
And
2000s
of course,
goth kid.
he was typical goth. Like go down the line, he listens to Pantera and fucking likes fire and shit.
He
You know what
needed
I'm
an
saying?
identity. Let him go.
No, it was fine. But I'm just saying, you could say goth kid, and it perfectly describes Marcus. Nice kid though. So he was there, and he was like, he would always like light things on fire. That was his way to be like, hey guys, we're cool. We're like, yeah, who doesn't want to see shit lit on fire? So Marcus is in the group, right? So we're all wasted, and somehow to start the fire, we used lighter fluid, and Mike is drunk as fuck. Now Marcus is trying to play with the fire and show all the girls how cool he is because he can manipulate fire and do this stuff, right? So Mike, unbeknownst to Marcus, Mike is dousing Marcus's leg in lighter fluid, but he can't tell because his pants are so fucking big, right? So he's like, I can fucking walk over this fire. And we're like, no, man, don't do it. Like, don't do it. Like, we don't need to see that. It's fine. And Mike's just going like spraying his leg, and Marcus has no idea. So Marcus, like, he makes a decision. I'm gonna walk over the fire. Well, he barely gets to the fire because he's so like just
the fire
soaked in this
came
shit.
to him.
Huh?
Like the fire came to him.
Yes, it just like he was like not even remotely like that close to the fire, and he just woof, the brightest light I've ever seen, and and it was like that scene from like Ace Ventura 2 when he's like they're throwing spears at him and he's getting hit in the leg, like but his legs are on fire. He's just like with both arms like and we're like,
once again, why are we laughing at this?
because it was so fucking.
We laughed at a little fat girl getting hit with a
Marcus, he was
donut.
trying to be cool, and by playing with fire, the pyro all of a sudden was like engulfed in flames.
Once again,
And
Mike is the real Tyler Durden of this whole situation.
Mike doesn't even exist. It's actually me.
No, don't try to take credit for this. No, he's the one who.
So Mike lit this kid on fire.
Once again, Mike was the catalyst for all the cool things that happened in this story.
But Marcus starts freaking out, and he's like, "What do I do?"
Stop,
like,
drop, and roll, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, "Stop, drop, and roll," and he just starts.
You don't
jumping around.
Get down with the sickness. Get down with the sickness.
He starts ripping his pants off because he doesn't like take them off. He's just freaking out. He's like like the old lady when the fucking
The
kid
old lady
is
who
trapped
used
under
to,
the car.
yeah, when the old lady who used to drive your car,
who drove my car,
Yeah,
and
when
her
she-
grandson got caught underneath it. And she
Yeah.
lifted it up so that she
had to
sold it
drop
because
it
she had
on
bad
him
memories.
more because he owed her money.
So he just like with this fucking crazy strength just rips these giant pants off. So then, but he still can't get him off his fucking goth like boots. So he's shaking him, and his legs are on fire, and the pants.
That's
are on
why.
fire.
Remember that club, that rock show that went up in flames because the
The
pyro
Great
went
White,
off.
the band,
Was that like
yeah.
a gothy band where everyone was dressed like
No,
that?
they
That
were
might have been
like,
the problem.
They were like 80s hair metal.
So there's still a lot of fumes.
Yeah. So okay, so.
I'm just saying, what do you think is the
everyone
is the
is
most
freaking
flammable musical subculture? All right, let us know what you
Goth?
guys think in the chat. Goth, I'd say goth, they're fucked because they have all these things on them.
Yeah, I would say 80s hair metal with the fucking.
Yeah.
They always had pyrotechnics and shit.
You know what? Like Tina Turner with the dress that had like the fucking. It was like one of them shaggy ass dogs that looks like when she shake. But there was a small dress that could just kind of singe and burn away. But goth pants are huge pants. It's hard to get those.
There's a lot to burn.
It's like a tent. It's like a blanket.
And
It's like my legs are wrapped in a fire blanket.
And with doused in fucking lighter fluid.
Yeah.
So, okay, so dude, he was like shaking his pants, and it's just like this fucking like fire dragon just spitting, and in parts of his pants were flying and on fire. And it was so everyone's like freaking out, like, oh my god, Marcus! And I'm just like, I've never laughed harder in my entire life. My ribs Like I the next day my rib it hurt to breathe because I was fucking laughing so hard, and I was on the ground, and Marcus finally like he falls on the ground, and we're surrounded by sand, so everyone starts kicking sand at him to like put the fire out, and it worked. But like imagine being lit on fire and laughed at by all your friends, and then you fall on the
Sand
ground
kicked
and they all
on you?
start kicking sand at you.
Imagine the sand be like, I mean, you want to talk dirt in the wound, like sand and like an open burn?
Well,
So wait,
yeah,
you're
but
there's sand,
puts out flames.
but are you near water?
We were along like the lake is there, but it's not that close
Okay.
if you're on fire.
I was gonna say, you're like,
We're
we're
not
surrounded
next
by
to the
sand.
beach,
I'm like,
like,
you guys,
we
yeah.
were next to the beach, sure, geographically, I would say, but like, when you're on fire, no, like it would have been worse if he tried to run, I think.
Yeah.
So then Marcus is just laying on the ground, literally
It
smoldering.
would have been
Just
like Forrest
he's
Gump.
not moving.
No,
and,
dude,
like,
it would have
it's
been fucking Forrest Gump. He would have been running, and they slowly would have, his jankos would have broken off his legs.
You've just been free and
Yeah.
you know.
And then, like, Marilyn Manson used to stay at the boarding house he lived at, and that's where he was like, show me those crazy pants again, kid. And that's how Marilyn Manson came.
So anyway, Marcus ended up shooting up his school.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
like,
dude, that is the most goth way to lose your fucking S&M Hot Topic pants, though.
yeah, no, it was pretty amazing.
They were burned
so-
by the devil himself. The devil himself burned my pants off because he lusts for my soul.
and really, it was just Mike being an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't
Starting to
cool
think
at all.
Mike might be the devil, like sort of Al Pacino
Dude,
devil's
he
advocate
certainly
thing.
used to be, man. I swear to
Yeah.
God. But like, all right. So Marcus is smoldering. Just like there, not moving. Mixture of embarrassment
Little
and
Darth
just, like,
Vader
shock.
situation.
Yes, exactly. Just
His legs are burned off.
like smoke just billowing off of Marcus. And like eventually I think it was my cousin Nick, like his like uncle was like, hey, what's going on over there? We were like, oh, yeah, Marcus got lit on fire. And he was like, okay, give me the alcohol. You know? He was like, because he was the one who gave it to us. So he was like, give me the fucking alcohol. So the next day, like we couldn't not tell people about it. So the neighbors knew, except for Marcus's parents. I think he went home and like somehow successfully hid it for a few hours. The next day, Marcus tries to play it cool and not be embarrassed, and he comes to the
There's
beach.
third-degree burns all over his legs.
Well, exactly. So our parents knew what it was, and Marcus comes up. He's like, "Hey guys," and his legs are all like pussing and like blistered. It's disgusting. And my mom, like the nurse, is like, "Sweetie, we need to get you out of the sun right now." And she like put a towel over him, and then like took him off. And then honestly, I never saw Marcus again.
Whoa,
Can you
really?
blame him?
We're
Friends on Facebook, but
It kind of sounds like your mom offed Marcus.
actually, no, not true. Okay, we saw him once after that, and he was trying to be cool, and we, of course, couldn't let that go. So we were hanging out with Marcus, and one of his favorite bands was Alexis on Fire. So he had his computer there, and Mike went into Marcus's computer while we were hanging out and changed the name of Alexis on Fire to Marcus on Fire. Like all of his files, he had everything. And that was when we never saw Marcus again.
Yeah, a goth kid. You fuck with a goth kid's MP3 collection?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up. You can't do that. The lighting him on fire thing is one thing. He's like, actually, that was pretty metal, so I gotta kind of let it go. But, you don't fuck with the guy's MP3s. You fucked his whole thing up.
Dude, so many things.
Because that's
yeah.
his music. Obviously, the music was like his life. That was his personality. It's like you went in his DNA.
Absolutely. He
and
lives by
rearranged
it.
it.
I understand that. I identify with that, but like,
I thought Canadians were supposed to be nice. Mike sounds
he's
like
not
a real
Canadian.
piece
He's
of
from
work.
Buffalo.
No, not Marcus.
Marcus.
No, not Marcus. Mike.
Oh, yeah. Mike is not a nice Canadian.
No.
He's the nicest guy now, but he was an evil motherfucker back in the day.
What?
And it was funny though. I mean, for his genius, like it was so funny. He was like, "Okay, this pyro kid who's trying to be all cool," and Mike's just like, "All right, well,
All
see
right,
what
you
you
want to play
got."
with fire? Yeah, okay, sure. Here you go.
And
I
fucking-
got lit. Like I had like a pair of jeans that were all ripped up and shit, like Wayne's World style. Just I don't know, some fucking shitty pair of jeans. But the fringe around the hole, and like you light your sock and it burns all the little fuzzies off, and it's cool. There's like the fringe around it, so you burn the fringe and it just kind of does the same thing. but one of them really took off. Real dry day. The wind was to the east. It really picked up quick. And I was just like, motherfucker. And I remember jumping over my friend's couch and through the bathroom into the fucking, and
You did
like
it
putting
inside?
water on it. Yeah. Yeah. What are you talking about? You're just, because we weren't like lighting lighter fluid fire, like having a fire. We just like had lighters. And we're probably like just smoking bowls and like doing the light,
Right.
like the sock on fire thing.
Yeah.
You know what? Did you have to go outside to do that? No, everybody did that inside.
Yeah,
And I
I know,
ran over
but-
and just put it on, but I had like this fucking welt on my leg that was like shaped like a heart, actually, like perfectly like a heart. And like I just kind of like was like, all right, well that's just there now. And then like eventually someone was like, no, that needs to be like taken care of. And like so she
You're like,
poured,
no, it's a sign.
no, she poured peroxide on it, and like
Is that what you're
was.
supposed to do with burns?
Well, it cleans it. It was fucking dirty. It had like lint in it and shit. Like, yeah, no, you're supposed to do that. Yeah, it cleans it out. And it bubbles and sizzles and hurts like a motherfucker. So I had this burning, sizzling, bubbling heart on my leg, like some Harley Quinn horse shit or something. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I've been light on fire before. And the time Carminati did it, I'm sure we've told that story 100 times. Is that really what happened? From your perspective, because I've told that story from my perspective. From my perspective, I'm on a lot of hallucinogens. I'm watching a concert. There's a lot of lights happening and glow sticks. And then I just want to give you my side of it. There's lights. There's glow sticks. I'm tripping my fucking nuts off. And there's beach balls. So everyone, like, when you're in a field of a jam band show, you're just getting hit with shit constantly.
Yeah, all the
Cups,
time.
fucking glow sticks, beach balls are hitting me in the head. So I keep hitting beach balls. So, like, I just kind of, there's just a light. And then something like hits me on the head, and I assume it was a beach ball, so I continue to enjoy the show. And then I just sense commotion, and I turn around and I see fucking Home Alone face. Yeah, exactly. So what the fuck happened?
Okay, so I think it was encore time because everyone started lighting their lighters. Remember, like when people used to do that? So I had a Zippo. And you had a fucking afro, all right? And I was fucked up. That was the first time I ever tripped.
It's coming
And
back.
I was next to Carminati,
It's coming
and he was
back.
right there. And you were just like a little bit in front of me. And my depth perception happened to be off, and I didn't know that. So I go to light my fucking lighter. And the flame gets like super big, and I realize it's the back of your head.
It was you who did it?
Yeah, I did.
I always thought it was
No, Carminati was next to me. He saw it.
I always thought it
did
was him who actually did it.
No,
It was you.
And so it was.
I
me,
think you
and-
might have told me it was him back then, and I just kind of locked that information in, and now you're finally just accidentally admitted it.
I always thought you knew it was
No,
me.
I thought it was him. I've told that story on like a lot, and I always thought it was him.
No, I'm sorry. I accidentally
You
lit
and
your
I
head on
specific-
fire.
I'm
So
pretty-
I didn't know what to do. So the first thing I did was smack the back of your head super hard, and it fucking put it out. Like it just doused the flame immediately. But you didn't know. Like it was funny. Like because you were the last person to know. Everyone around us, including strangers, were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I know,
You know what
I
mean?
felt
and you were
commotion.
it was so funny because your hair was on fire and you were just like profile view. You were just like, just digging
Yeah,
it,
dude.
just loving it, and you had no clue, man.
a
Luckily,
fucking
you had
rule.
a lot of hair, so you didn't fucking like
No.
feel it, you know. But there were beach balls and glow sticks and fucking tons of shit flying around.
That's what I'm
you know?
saying is you're kind of in a war zone. So it's not like it was pitch black and nothing was hitting me in the head. There was like literally the craziest light show you like
Yeah.
$1 billion
There was a
light
lot
show.
going on. Plus,
There's lasers
you know-
and shit. There's hippies bumping into you. It's fucking chaos out there. So
Yeah.
a flash of light and something, especially you're tripping balls, like someone like
That's the last thing you expect, you know.
I swear to God,
tripping or not, you know?
I really think we've told this story and you've been like, yeah, it's Carminati. This is an old standard, goddammit.
Well, now that I'm not in the same room with you, I feel confident.
Well,
enough
now
to
that
tell you it was me.
yeah. That's funny.
No, that was, and dude, because everyone else was just like, you know, and I just like, and it worked. It put it out, and you were just like, "What the fuck is that?" I think you like pushed me or
My-
whatever. You're just like, "Fuck," like you're ruining my moment. I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. You have no fucking idea how much I almost ruined your moment."
Yeah, dude, that
You-
shit's scary, man. Especially like For some reason, concerts, like, there's such a high level of stress sometimes for me, and it's scary. And I hate when I see, like, several staff members collecting together, and everyone starts looking over because you're like, somebody died, and I don't want to be at the show where somebody died.
Yeah, you don't want to be bothered.
I don't want to be the guy who died. So you're constantly just in your, even though you're drinking water like crazy and like doing everything, you're like, I'm gonna die any second. Like that's the vibe you have. But then it changes into like, I'm so like, this is the greatest place in the world. This is life. I'll cherish this forever. This is who I am now. I'm gonna walk out of this venue a different person. But then sometimes you're like, I'm going to have a heart attack and this kid next to me is going to have to help. Because that's what that's what Nancy Reagan told us. She told us we were going to die.
Nancy Reagan. All right. Okay. Mo, Thursday in the Square. All right. It was me and Alex.
It'd be funny if you had like a chick on rotation who was like a nerdy chick and she was your Thursday night like hookup. If you were like that Coxman that we were talking about last time, like a guy who like whatever, that guy, that really cool stripper guy, the guy, I'm sure he has like a nerdy chick he bangs on Thursdays, and he calls them Thursdays in the Square. Continue.
That was good, man. That was really good. Thanks for interrupting my story.
I wanted to keep it short though, like concise, word economy. You know, you got to get right to the point. Sometimes you're a little wordy.
That's why it took you 5 minutes to explain what you were talking about.
It's just.
All right, so we took we
you and
the
Mike
classic bad idiot thing to do on acid, where you don't wait for it to kick in, so you take another one because you're like, oh, this is weak shit. I want to trip before the show's over. So we took 2 tabs of this weird paper comic strip fucking acid, and it hit us really hard. And Alex is like a dude who trips. I'm just a dude who does it like at a concert.
Yeah.
Alex is a fucking experienced veteran.
Thursday
and he started to freak out, so that freaked me out.
Oh, yeah. Thursday
and there's
in
all
the
these people, right?
So that was like
when
a concert where you're like in an arena where it's dark and you're like in your safety of just being alone in the darkness. Thursday in the Square is just you're in the city and it's popular and it's
in the
daytime.
city and it's the sun's out.
Yeah, it's fucking freaky. It's not
all kinds of people and cops everywhere.
Did a bitch have a snake throwing up in the garbage can?
What's that?
Wasn't there a snake throwing up in a garbage can at one point?
Yeah, that was. Unless we all imagined that.
It was like a goth kid, like one of your friends, and like it was like a goth person who had a snake, and we were like, "Oh, cool, a snake!" And I guarantee someone's like, "Give the snake some mushrooms," and then the snake, she was holding the snake over her shoulder, like she was siphoning something out of a hose, and it was like into the garbage can, and the snake was throwing up. And we were all tripping balls. You ever seen a snake throw up in a city garbage can? A Buffalo City garbage can while you're tripping balls at 6:00 on a Thursday. You ever seen that, motherfucker? No. All right. So when you watch this show and you think me and Steve are a little off.
So Alex and I were like, all right, we're tripping way too hard, man. Like, we need to find some weed. Maybe that'll mellow us out. So that was where, remember Goth Alley?
Yeah, no, that's where the whole snake thing happened. Yeah, Goth Alley,
yeah, exactly. So behind
dude,
the
it
stage,
really was. It was
like
over
one. There was like an alley that was, for all our listeners who don't know what Goth Alley is, it was like a nice, beautiful alleyway between two buildings, and it was that's what an alleyway is. And fucking, it had like nice trees and places to like.
It was more of a courtyard.
Yeah, it was a courtyard, but it was like.
It was a narrow courtyard.
We called it Goth Alley because that's where all these gothic kids hung out. Never went to the show, but they were just hanging out in between two buildings.
Yeah, because Thursday in the Square used to be some fucked up shit, dude. It would just be the whole city would be a party for a Thursday night because it was free. It was before they moved them. But yeah, Goth Alley was like some shit from the Lost Boys.
It was a very strange place. So Alex is like, yo, let's go find some weed. So I follow him. And he brings me to Goth Alley. And I'm like, dude, what are we doing here, man? And he's like, they got to have something. So I'm like, Alex is talking to some people, and we're in like bright tie-dye versus like fucking Marilyn Manson vampires, right?
Yeah.
And there's this one dude who I notice off in the distance. Like Alex is like kind of here, and like there's all this noise, and it's just like muffling on the guy, like coming in and out of the noise. Like you know what I mean? Like your perception, everything is just overloaded. And so I'm like looking around, and Alex is like doing his thing, and there's this fucking dude who had like Alice Cooper makeup, like the lines in the eyes, and like slicked back hair, tall motherfucker wearing a duster. And he had this weird like when they split their tongue type of thing.
Oh,
You know,
like
one
a
of those
lizard,
things.
yeah.
And he looks at me, and I'm like, Alex, we gotta go, man. We gotta go, man. And he's like, no, dude, Steve, hold on. And I'm like, dude, like we gotta go. And I was like, there's a vampire, and he's like, stop, man. Like, like he's the veteran, I'm not, but we're still looking for weed to calm us both down. So he's still got his kind of shit together. I'm just like, no, I'm pretty sure there's a vampire over there. But anyway, this fucking dude, he pulls out like. What's the big firecracker, like an M80 or something? Like the big one that would like explode mailboxes, one of those.
Yeah.
And he's got a Zippo. And he fucking, so nobody notices. It's just me and this guy. And there's a whole bunch of people, but it's just me and him. I'm tripping balls, and this vampire pulls out an explosive. And he's looking at me, and he starts going, and like he knows. He's fucking with me so hard, but he knows. And he lights it. I was like, Alex, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go, man. I was like, and this vampire's throwing explosives, and he did. He started throwing firecrackers, and that's when Alex finally started to listen to me, and he saw the vampire throwing explosives at us, and we got the fuck out of there. But like, I had to, literally, a vampire had to throw a stick of dynamite at us for Alex to listen to me that something was wrong.
Alex was trying to do business, okay, and some dumbass next to him was like, "There's a vampire throwing explosives," and he was like, "Shut the fuck up." So don't be like, finally Alex comes around and starts to see the truth. He starts to see what's really going on here. That's fucking wild, dude. That is like,
dude,
that's
it
like,
was
you know
that
what
would have
that
been
is?
scary sober.
That is,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even if I wasn't tripping out of
yeah,
my mind,
that's
that would have
scary.
been a terrifying experience.
But that's like like Val Kilmer Batman bad guys. You know, with like glowing face paint and
the
all
gang
of them,
members. And
all of
shit.
them walk like this all the
yeah,
time.
Yeah, and glowing dark paint and shit. And
Yeah,
just like,
and it's like, don't any of you ever have to like take a piss? Like, but you're just constantly like,
like exactly. He had a duster and,
and
like,
all
weird,
his friends,
metal
like the
clips
leader's
and
taking a
boots.
piss. That's how he takes. Like even when he's in the taking a piss, they never stop the act. Is what I'm saying. They never. Just constantly, yeah, like they never tone it down. They're always just like taking a piss, and they're all around him going, yeah.
Yeah, they go for the shake, and they're just like,
go Spike, yeah. And Batman comes in, and they're like, it's the Bat, and it's just like, this guy has a 20-year record of breaking the arms of people like you, and none of you ever go, oh shit, it's him. They're all like, yeah, it's Batman.
Get the Bat.
And then he fucking launches some shit into your face. Dumb fucks. So, dude, no, seriously, crying Goth Alley, Crime Alley is where Batman's parents got killed. But Goth Alley is like something from fucking Batman or some of that shit. Like, because it would be these hippie shows.
They were dressed like
these
Batman
jam band
villains.
shows. So it'd be a ton of hippie kids, a lot of college kids, Buffalo hipster fuckers, you know, all that shit. And then you would just walk by, yeah, this black, like, Slipknot fucking, you know, it was like the mall. It was like when you walk by Spencer's. And there was a fucking...
Yeah, but, like, it's still, like, I'm like, my heart's
your
pumping, because that was
sensors-
fucking terrifying.
They
Like,
were heightened. Dude, I told this on the Captain's Drug. I'm sorry, I'll tell it again, because I don't think I've ever told you. I've never explained this. So, we're at, like, a festival, and it was, like, there was weirdness in the air amongst everybody in the crew. Everybody's had, you know, whatever. So it was the last night, and Phil Lesh was doing 2 sets, and we're out in this field, and I'm on, you know, it's the last night, so it's sort of like, for me, it's just like every time the sun comes back up, it's like, clean slate, it's brand new. And then you're like, no, it's 3 days, like, piling up on top of each other. By Sunday, you're just like, so Sunday, Phil Lesh is playing, Jackie Green's there, it's an amazing set, I've watched the set before, it's a great set. For some reason, he's doing 2 sets. For some reason, in the middle, they play Lost Cause by Beck out of the PA. It's like the saddest song. You're just like, all right. And it kind of like, and there was weird situations happening in personal lives, and it was just very bizarre.
yeah.
That's when I was like, there was like near some of the porta potties, there was a place to hang out. There was like a putting green. There was these 2 kids like in sleeping bags, like 2 like young teenagers in sleeping bags, just chilling there. And I was waiting for the thing, and I was like, I was just opened up because of whatever. And I sat down and told these kids my whole life story and everything that happened that summer and how crazy shit's been and who I was here with, and like I opened everything up. And then like an hour later, me and Tim were waiting at the same porta potty, and I look and I go, "Yo, Tim, you see those 2 kids?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "They know fucking everything about us." He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I talked to those kids for like an hour. I don't know. I'm all fucked up, dude. I've opened up to them. They know you. They're looking right now. They're looking at us going, oh, that must be Tim because I told them what you look like. And they're definitely, I saw the kids looking at us, and the kid was trying to explain where his truck was, and there's like 200,000 people at this fucking thing. He's like, if you go down this alley, then there's a flag with like a deadhead thing on, and I just stopped him. I'm like, kid, we're never gonna see each other again. Okay, so just enjoy this. So, we're at this festival. Phil last day. I'm walking around. For some reason, I can't stop moving. I keep walking. But I'm like, it's a festival, a big open space, so you could walk right up to the stage and have plenty of room, and you were very free. It was great. Really great concert experience. And then there's this part. I'm walking by, and I look down and see, and I've only seen it once since, and I should have taken a screenshot. It's like a little chair with wheels on it. I would say wheelchair, but it's not a traditional wheelchair. It's like some heavy duty shit. It's like big. It's like a triangle, and it's got 3 wheels on it, like a big fucking wheel. It looks like Batman's fucking motorcycle from that shit. And it's like this big chair, but you can tell it's like medical reason, but it's like an off-roading fucking wheelchair for like the cool fucking handy capable, you know?
Paraplegic.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. And then next to it, I see 2 people kind of like rummaging on the ground, and I'm like, whatever, all right. So I keep walking, and I keep making passes through the same places, and I look and I see the same shit again, and I'm just walking around thinking, I don't know, it was trippy. And then I look down at the people next to this thing, and I see a lady, and I see like a fella, I see their torsos making out, and I see her legs, and from under her legs are what appears to be a child's legs. So like little legs, and I'm like, okay, and keep walking. Just pretending, just shake it, sugary, don't attack it. And then I'm like, I gotta make another pass. Now this is my whole night is this, without being like fucking
weird.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm gonna make another pass. Yeah, light a firecracker and blow up his fucking thing. Now how are you gonna give me Batman? So fucking yeah. All right. So I did just what I assume it was like a lady and her husband or something, and he's got some sort of, thing where his legs are little, and they were straight up, they must have been fucking. They were going at it on the ground so hard, like teenagers on ecstasy for the first time making out session. Like dry hump, they going the fuck at it with his little, and I enough to where I looked at it where I was like, I know I'm on like a lot of drugs, but like, is this what I have to report this back to my friends? It's been 10 years. I had never told any of you. I've told this story twice, and it's both times have been recorded. And I'm just like, I'm like, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at right now. It's like a crippled dude fuck a chick in a field while Phil Lesh is just like, look out of any window. And I'm just like, whoo. Like, all right, Jesus Christ. That's why, like, when this pandemic shit hit, I'm like, all right, and now everybody's going to catch up to me. My shit got fried a long time ago. I don't know what I saw, dude. I don't know what that was. But I guess maybe their kink is like, let's go fuck in the field at a dead show, or they're just on a ton of drugs or something. I don't know. But good for them. Nothing against them. But understandably,
it would be like
to
pretty
a young
profound if you saw a handicapped guy getting a handy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He's got like a tag hanging from his dick. I don't know. It was, and
what I'm picturing is disturbing.
No, it's disturbing. And then I was scrolling through Instagram and like saw like a random picture of the exact type of chair. I've looked for the type of chair, and I've seen ones that kind of look like it, but not exactly. And I saw the same exact one, and it is for like people with, fucking legs don't work, and they want to go fucking hiking and stuff, and they want to do off-road.
Okay.
Total like
or
Vermont
in front
granola,
of a bunch of strangers.
Yeah, Vermont granola eating deadheads who like go and like take some fucking ayahuasca and like have some crazy sex in the middle of a field. They just couldn't help it. That's pretty awesome. I got 2 great, well-labeled legs. I could not talk a chick into fucking me in a field while an 80-year-old man sings and plays songs she's never heard. Like, the rest of you try that with your fucking legs. This guy is a fucking hero. All right?
Good for him, man.
This guy fucking rules.
well, okay,
Same
so
concert you
before-
blew my head up at. We did see a guy getting a blowjob, didn't we? Or did I imagine?
Yeah, he was sitting in a chair.
Because
It
they
was
used
by
to
the porta
rent
potties,
those
I think.
little chairs, those little fold-out chairs for the hill at Darien Lake.
Yeah,
They used to
and he was
rent
just
those.
getting blown right in front of everyone. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, pure daylight. Band didn't even start yet.
So when I was younger, this is before the summer of amazing awesomeness. At the cottage, we were hanging out with some of the girls, Mike and I, and one of the girls' dads had like a stack of Playboys on the fucking toilet, which is weird when you have daughters, but whatever. So I looked through it, and we're all looking through these Playboys, right? And it's an old one, and I thought somebody blocked out this model's vagina with like a fat Sharpie because she had so much bush, and I had no I had no knowledge of bush or like that was a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think my pubes were growing in yet, so I didn't know about bush, let alone like how crazy it got in the 70s and 80s. Like, that's insane, and it's disgusting. So like, whatever, but like, it was so hairy. It looked like somebody, like, he was like, well, in my head, I said out loud, like, they block it out, and all the kids made fun of me because I'd never seen bush before. But it was so hairy and so
other
like, it
fucking
looked
little
like
kids
one
are
of those
eating
fat
pussy.
fucking tipped like Sharpies that like somebody scribbled it out because it had that much volume. Like, why even take a picture of a fucking
like
vagina?
the type of marker that Banksy uses. Like,
yes, like, exactly. Like, it looked like scribbled, like, you know what I mean? Like, when you draw a line with a Sharpie and then you go back over it and it's kind of like you can see through it type of thing. It was like that, but like it was just giant bush. And like I'm like, why is this a photo? Why is this in a magazine? Like, who looked at that and was like, oh yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh my god,
it doesn't make any sense. But everyone like still like will bring that up. Like at the cottage, we'll like reunite and see everyone that we haven't seen since we were kids, and they will still bring up that moment where I thought they blocked out the vagina in Playboy because it's disgusting. Why would you take a fucking picture of that? You know what I mean?
Dude,
and then leave it on top of your toilet.
Yeah, that's weird.
And like I gotta save this one, and you have kids. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but
what about that?
Woman's
was special?
Form is a beautiful thing, Steve. And they didn't know about shaving before.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they knew. Guys didn't have just giant beards. They knew it was possible to remove hair. For some reason, they didn't.
They didn't. It was just like a thing. Like, nobody wanted to, that's fine. Whoever
really
has bush. I'm not bush shaming, all right? But
because you had the whole Stevie Nicks thing about the bush. Like, you'd rather, like, because you were picturing Stevie Nicks in her peak.
Yes.
And I think you just want to fuck someone who has the same name as you.
Yeah. That's a start. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But would you have Stevie Nicks 70s bush, Stevie Nicks now no bush?
Oh, I think now for the story.
Well, if you're doing it just for a story, do it when she was hot.
No, it's a cooler story.
It's
like,
old lady Stevie Nicks,
like in her fucking Carrie fucking Fisher looking years,
Yeah. Hey,
like old Carrie Fisher years, not Princess Leia years.
Remember? Yeah, you're just. We all get together and regale about stories. Remember when Steve saw a picture of a vagina in a magazine and threw up? And he started screaming and crying. He didn't know what it was.
Just you couldn't see it. You couldn't see it. So like
it's very bizarre when they start to teach you that shit. When they start to diagram all that shit out in school, you're just like, how oh my god, it goes all the way up. It goes up and under and back up and in.
But there was no education. And plus, I went to St. Peter.
Well, yeah.
So like, there was no education.
Yeah.
So,
you got weird shit going on there. And your first thing is a fucking... Was she black for some reason? Am I picturing... I'm picturing, Scatman Crothers above his bed. You know what I mean? Like black guy. Oh,
no, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, I don't like that. Your first exposure to pussy was a fucking, a bush and a fucking hustler.
My first pair of tits I ever saw was Angelina Jolie in the movie Gia. Oh. When she plays like that hooker model thing, you know what I'm talking about? It was a HBO movie. So that was an experience, and that was when I learned women had nipples. I was young, dude. Comic books, like that was the only I saw tons of cleavage in comic books, but you never saw tits.
They never
when you were a
showed
kid, you
nip.
have no idea.
Yeah, because they probably had some weird like Stan Lee's like this old school guy where like they could show these beautiful voluptuous women with their huge things, and like a guy probably drew him a sketch that had like you could see the nipples through her shirt. And he was like, "Come on, we're not making a smut magazine. Get that out of there." But all the rest of it.
Yeah, but without the nipples, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was all. But okay, so it was having no knowledge of Bush, and then somebody just being like, "Here you go," and then after you're like, "What?" They're all like, "Ah!" Like, so that's how I learned about Bush, and I think that's probably why I resent it so much.
Yeah, well, yeah. So you see Bush, and you're just like, "No."
That's why I'd rather bang Stevie Nicks now without a Bush than like when she
Clean-shaven
was
Stevie
cool
Nicks.
with 70s sweaty Fleetwood Mac drug-rigging.
We're all gonna find out
Bush.
that Kaylee has alopecia, and we don't know. And like that's why you're
Yeah,
a match made in
it's the
heaven.
only reason I like her.
All right.
But that, I mean, it was a rude awakening, I would say. But it's not even like I.
It's
came
pretty
to an
shocking.
experience
If
where,
you're
like,
not
I
ready
just,
for that,
like,
it's shocking. Sure.
yeah, but then and then not everyone's got that, and that was kind of a fad that went away, thank God. And so it was just very strange.
I
And
think
they were
I
all
like
like,
it's
I was like,
getting,
but how does every one of these fucking kids who are not that much older than me, maybe a year at most, have all this knowledge about hairy vaginas? And then where was I?
There was probably a couple kids in that group who were laughing. They didn't know why, but they packed up because they
That's
were,
probably
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah, they were just like,
I was
thank God
thinking
we're not
about
the butt
this.
of this joke.
I don't know if I've ever
And they're
told
just
this. I was thinking about this because like I listen to like a lot of like old O&A shows, and like Jim Norton, very very open about his childhood and the sexual shit that happened. And I think everybody who listens to that starts going like, all right, let me really try to think. Did anything happen to me? And I don't think so, but I do remember like being on the bus, and there was one kid, and we were all crowded around because he had something he had to show us. And I'm talking like everybody. Like there was like a little girl looking over the back seat, and me and my friend are looking. It was like a kid I didn't know. It was like some rednecky kid. And like I didn't know. And he like pulled out just like fucking stiff little kid boner. And like this was when nobody was getting boners. We didn't know what boners were. And he just had it, and he was like, "Yo." And he just like wanted to like, and like everybody was like looking over the seats at it. We're like, whatever, we don't care. And I was like, it's sticking straight. I remember like sort of being like, oh man, like I felt like we felt bad for him. And like me and my friend after, we were like, oh yeah, that's cool. To him, we're like, that's cool, man. We're like, dude, it was sticking straight up. It was all hard and stuff. It's not supposed to be like that. Oh my God, this poor guy. What the fuck's wrong with him? That's horrible. That's so weird. I didn't want to embarrass him, but why is it sticking up like that? Oh my God.
What a freak.
What a fucking weirdo. Like, and there was nothing like sexual about it. It was just like, this is doing something. Everybody look.
Everyone look.
What's happening? It was just for some reason he just had a boner on the bus. And fucking, we were all just like, dude, you got to get that looked at. That's terrible. That's awful. And now, years later, flash 40 years later with like a bunch of whiskey and cocaine, you're just like, God damn it. That kid had it going on. Fuck.
I have to be young again.
Yeah. So, like, that's the only thing I can really think back on. It's just, like, some kid, like, got a boner and was, like, pretty much asking for help. He's like, what is this? Like, it's growing out. It's getting big. Ah!
Come look.
And we were like, I don't know, dude. It looks fine. And then after, we were like, he's going to die.
What a freak.
He's going to die. That thing's going to kill him.
Oh, God. Okay, I think we should leave it off.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll do another one next week, I suppose.
Absolutely, man. This is fun.
Okay. Friendly Foes at the Jug tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, man.
All right. Friendly Foes at the Jug tomorrow, the 13th. We're booking some other stuff. Go just, we're just, you know the fucking deal, man. Just keep your fucking ears peeled. All right? You're going to find more things. It's coming. All right? Calm down. All right? Relax. What's your problem? Calm and relax. All right?
Wait.
That's money. All right? The bank can wait. Okay? They can't kick me out of the house. I'm an American. Just go off into some crazy shit. I just really bunkered myself down here. Just like you guys, next time I'm just like holding a gun. I mean, I do have, like, there's a cat right here. It's getting weird. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
All right, bye.